It is Ask the Attorney Friday, so I spoke remotely with Colorado's best attorney, Phil Harding. He shares how an expert witness can strengthen your case.
Hi, Phil. It's so good to see you.
Good morning or afternoon. It's good to see you. It's hard to tell time these days, right? It's crazy.
It's all flying by so fast. But, we're talking about expert witnesses. We hear about them all the time on TV shows, movies. You've taught us a lot about them. But who are they exactly? What is their purpose?
It's really important to know about experts and who they are and what they can do. So experts need to be qualified pursuant to the rules of procedure and also the rules of evidence. But normal witnesses can come in and they can testify as to what they saw or what they heard. Now, experts can give opinions like, in the future, I think this much medical treatment is going to be needed. I've used experts, and experts can either be your treating providers, they can be engineers. I've had a brake technician come in and be an expert. So it's really important to know who are experts, and let's look and see what experts are and how they're defined under the Colorado Rules of Evidence. And here it is. 702. It says a witness qualified as an expert by knowledge, skill, expertise, training, or education may testify thereto in the form of opinion that we were talking about. So when you have experts, you have to make sure that you have the right expert. First of all, your treating providers fall under a lower standard, and they're what's known as non-retained experts. Then there are retained experts. And let me tell you, I once had this one case where a guy was on a bike, he got hit and had an MRI done, a CT done later, and it didn't show anything. So I hired this guy, and he's called a neuroradiologist. You ever heard about someone like that?
No, I really haven't.
Well, a super smart guy. And he lives and works in Vegas. He's the guy who tells boxers when they have to stop boxing. So who knows more about concussions than that guy, right?
Right.
So
So you hired him.
Exactly. I went out, hired him for this case, and he looked at the CT, looked at the MRI, and said, they did the wrong test. And I said, well, what's the right test? And he says, you have to have a stronger magnet. You have to have a 3 Tesla or 1.5 Tesla MRI. Let me show you this. But you see right there, those little lines and those dots? Those little dots show what's known as Coop contra Coop shearing. And so when you have a brain injury, your neurons rip. And then there's this little lesion that is left over. So with a regular MRI, you couldn't see it. With a regular CT, you couldn't see it either. But then you get a world-renowned expert or anyone that uses these higher magnet, right? A 3 Tesla or 1.5, you can now see these lesions all over.
That's incredible. Now, you found him in Las Vegas, where the boxing scene is, of course. But do you have to travel all over the world to find the experts?
Sometimes you do. Most of the time you don't. And so that's why I tell my clients, if you have a treating provider that knows you before and after the accident, I love to have them experts. I love to have them come in and testify. Also, sometimes you're going to find some great ones here in Denver. There are really good experts, including engineering experts, that can opine as to how an accident took place, or if you're in a car wreck, how many G's you pulled.
Wow. Speaking of pulling G's and all that kind of information, you've told us before that most cars on the road now have those little black boxes that tell you all kinds of information, just like airplanes have, right?
They do, and that's called an EDR, stands for an event data recorder, and just about every car on the road has that. And what it measures is 5 seconds before an event, which is a crash or a hard brake, up through that event. This shows the RPMs, it shows when someone steps on the brake, it shows if an airbag deployed, does someone have their seatbelt on? If you get in a wreck and there's ever a question, I want you to hire an engineer, go out, pull the EDR, and they give like 20 pages of data like you're seeing right here. So
That's
please
awesome.
Get the right expert.
Absolutely. Good stuff, Phil. It's always great to talk to you and learn from you. So we appreciate it. Have
My
a great
pleasure.
one.
And if you have a question for our legal expert, go to KDVR.com, then click on Colorado's Best. You're going to see Phil Harding's photo on the right. If you just click on it, you can send him your questions directly. He'll take the time to answer them each personally and confidentially. And you can also reach Harding & Associates directly. His number is 303-762-9500. You can get a free consultation anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.com.